Call to order the meeting of PROST on March 12th, 2025. We'll start with the roll call. John Evans.
Aaron McConnell.
Laurelyn Bockelman.
Jesse Roper.
Sarah Brown.
Rebecca Daly.
Forget there was
Alexis.
Did too.
Very good. We'd be open for public comment.
My name is Mark Parton. Me and my wife, we just moved into town about a year ago from Fort Collins. We own our own business. I've been in the sign business and painting murals for about 25 plus years. So I grew up in it, and we just would like to introduce ourselves and see if there's anything we can do to help at the town, make it look pretty.
Perfect. Awesome.
Did you just volunteer or you're just business, right?
Yeah, we're business.
They just did the sign painting at OCB
Oh, that's great.
on the
Yeah.
slats.
Oh, excellent.
And we're working on a mural
Oh.
for them.
What's your company?
Creative Loft.
Yes, I've been seeing you guys stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Yes, awesome. Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I do apologize. Rebecca did reach out to me and I saw it and then I forgot about it. So I was supposed to reach out to you guys.
Oh, no worries.
But I'm glad you guys are here.
Okay, perfect.
So-
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And Kate, you're on the Main Street board
I
too,
am,
right?
yes,
Okay,
I am, yes.
awesome.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, thank you. Anything else? Anything?
We just want to network and
Yeah.
get our
Network
name
and
out.
get our name out. And our goal is to have a storefront, maybe hopefully by the end of, the summer here in Wellington. So
Cool.
it'd be really cool to get it going. So,
Excellent.
yeah, we're here to stay.
Yeah.
Good.
Very nice.
I hope everybody else says the same thing and stare you all down. Yeah, I think one thing I can say is that internally, and I know it's been talked about a lot, is an art and public places program. A lot of times that either runs through community events or parks and recreation or cultural services, which we don't technically have, but as we grow, it's something that we absolutely want to see and see it happen, because there are plenty of places that we have that could use that in town. It's just kind of getting to that next step.
Yeah.
But
Anything I
hopefully
can do to help
opportunity.
or come up with any creative stuff, I'm more than willing to help. I painted some murals around Fort Collins, sliced pizza, Colorado kolache, the whiskey steak, still whiskey steak. And down in Denver, we've done like for the Colorado Rockies batting manager. We did his indoor batting facility. He just opened up down on Yosemite. And we did a cool mural for the Denver highlights and the skyscrapers and stuff like that. So
Cool.
and then in Windsor, we were over at the Sip and Flip. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it is a cool little 90s arcade.
Cool.
And he opened and we put a whole bunch of Ninja Turtles and Tron and Super Mario Brothers stuff and 90s stuff.
Okay, do you do 8-year-olds rooms? That got me
Actually, I think
there.
I'll do Jurassic Park when I'm done with Sip and Flip in a bedroom for a guy that moves arcades for the Sip and Flip people.
Oh,
So,
cool.
So cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very nice.
yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks for being.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
paint my truck, so we're good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Do you do temporary truck paint for
Oh my
parades?
I recommend magnets.
Yeah. Magnets with rocks, like
Yeah,
tiny
yeah,
little
yeah,
gravel,
yeah,
like.
yeah.
We'll dust it as much as we can before, undust it.
No, yeah. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
coming. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Glad you're in town.
We like it here. We have a daughter that's homeschooled. She barrel races, and so she's about.
Oh, I
10
didn't
years,
know
she's
that.
10, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was
So she ought to join the parade on Saturday.
Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah.
Good to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
Kate's actually the one who told me that the Welly costume is not going to be occupied currently.
Because we're all
What?
gonna be busy on Saturday, so we
Yeah.
can do a float, so. You're more than welcome to take the costume.
So
think
it's
that
just
falls into your
I just a
court.
thought. Pinto.
I think Billy
We-
should wear the
we-
Willie costume.
I don't.
Yeah, that'd be
You should see
good.
the list we have before you sign up.
Sign anybody up from our
See the
department.
list that we've got, yeah.
I won't be here, sorry.
I'm tumbling down. No, I would do it. My shins and wrists would be exposed and. I think my neck is even too long for my life.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Scary. Willie.
Well, he could be a leprechaun. The larger person.
Good to know.
Okay. We don't have any public comment on Zoom, do we? Okay.
Sorry, do we know if Joe is joining? Has anybody heard from Joe?
I don't have anyone. in the
No,
meeting
okay,
yet.
just checking. Thank you.
So we'll have a consideration of the minutes from February's meeting. Did everybody get a chance to look over them?
The minutes? Oh, yeah. Yep, looks good.
I did note that Robert's name
Just a
wasn't
second.
under either attendees or absent.
Ah, okay.
And I believe he came in a little late. Was that right? I know I wrote the time down. I just don't have my notes from last meeting. And then I had one other one. Just some typos. So under updates for a master plan, on the second to last bullet point, it says ton halls, not town halls. That's all I really caught.
I will update those.
So with those adjustments, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from February 12th, 2025?
I'll motion to approve minutes from February 20,
February 12th, 2025.
thank you, February 12th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, you don't have to stay through.
Yeah.
What is most likely gonna be about 2 hours. worth of meeting.
Yeah, good to meet you.
You guys, have a good day.
Have a good one.
You too.
We are glad to have Alexis back for a presentation. Yeah.
Okay. So I was supposed to be here last month, but I lost my voice and wasn't able to come. But in that month, I submitted all my paperwork to Girl Scouts of Colorado, and I was approved for my silver award, and I actually got the pin.
Yay!
But yeah, so the feasibility study is completely finished, and I've been working with my aunt to finalize it and put it into a final draft, which is what you have in front of you. That's not the final draft, so there can still be edits made to it if need be. And if there's any questions that you have, that's not the full data. Well, there's a data table in the back of the packet, but I can look deeper into the data if you have any questions.
And one note that she will be traveling to this aunt, who loves data a lot. So if there are any questions about that, like you will see this person who just really can look at it and analyze it in a different way that I have ever met anyone. So if there are any questions about that, like we will be in person, so she can really dig into that and then bring it back. Like, what does this mean? Why did they do that? My sister also, Aunt Jackie, was the one that really encouraged it to be that anonymous survey, so it could lean into that for potential growth from a true research perspective. So there's a lot of education on that side about what a feasibility study was and how you get really, really authentic results and asking those questions. You know, some of the questions are hard to analyze, but you change them. And we didn't run those through it, Jackie. So there's been some of those conversations as to like, I don't know how to anticipate this because of the way the question was really written. So it's been a very interesting thing to analyze the data. Yeah, so we have a very, very real in-person moment where we can dig in deeper. Make it final.
I think the biggest takeaway from the feasibility study was the community support and 94% of the respondents agreed that a community garden would benefit the community. So the community was very on board with the thought of a community garden, but 73% of the respondents are not familiar with community gardening. But it also kind of ties into how 60% of the respondents have limited or no access to non-potable water at their residence. And 18% of the respondents had no access to gardening. Another big point of the feasibility study was the location that it was going to be at. So we surveyed Winnick, Viewpoint, and Wellsville, and the community was pretty equal on all of them with their likes and dislikes. They just showed a slight like for Viewpoint. 73% showed satisfaction with Viewpoint, 67% showed satisfaction with Winnick, and 59% showed satisfaction with Wellville. So wherever the community garden ends up being placed, the community will be happy with the location. On the last question of the survey, we asked, it was an optional question to share where the what community the respondents were in. And 2 of the respondents chose to share more feedback and support with the garden. One of the respondents shared that she was very supportive of a community garden, but was worried about the security of the gardens and the local teenagers running them. So the security would have to be a big part of the garden.
Yes.
And one other respondent stated, "While I do not need a gardening space, I love to be supportive," and then gave their email address so that he could be still tied in to the community garden. That's the big wrap up. You guys have any questions?
Yeah, I felt like when you did your presentation, and maybe I'm reading it wrong, maybe kind of leaned toward doing it at Viewpoint. Maybe I thought you felt maybe it was a little more favorable. Is that right?
Yeah.
If you dig into the data, Viewpoint does have more, and there's some reasons why that might happen. When you actually go like line by the 100 or so survey results, there was a lot more activity out of like Sage Meadow and Viewpoint. Like that's just a fact. Then you start to like look at like the why. Like you can actually see like if you're in Viewpoint, how did they answer? One thing to note on the one person that was strongly disagreeing with the community garden, every other question that they answered, they wanted it. Like they felt like in Viewpoint, any of the locations, they loved it. So clearly on that question, they probably didn't understand it. So
Clicked the wrong thing.
right,
Yeah.
they
Outlier.
misread it. So they were able
Yeah.
to like line by line the data. And we can certainly stay with it and explain some of that, like as
Right.
far as justification in the long term, that the one person that strongly disagreed was probably one of those statistical things we should throw out.
Yeah.
So when we get into the locations, overarching, like agree and strongly agree, right? Viewpoint was that, and
Okay.
Wellsville was the bottom. And I think everybody thought, oh, we need this east side place. And so after they got done with the data and then we met more and like asked these questions, like you kind of say, why? You know, there's this thought that the east side does, but if you live in an apartment, you live in a condo, maybe you have no desire to have a yard. And then why does the people who live in Viewpoint want it so badly? Well, they live in big yards that maybe at one point they could garden and now they can't. So if they have a place where there is water and there is space that they can be like, that's a really big improvement for that community. So it's just kind of interesting when you actually kind of look at those respondents, because we do have it. And it was only 100, like, ooh, was that enough? But because there was a variety, like they felt like there was a pretty good representation. That's probably why Viewpoint leaned into more favor, but no one said heck no at Wellsville. But you can kind of understand in its location where if you didn't want anything behind you and you have no interest in this, that you wouldn't want that gone. You just want somebody to mow the grass and be done. So that's maybe one of those hypotheses of the line by line and listening. But overarching, strongly agree and agree for all 3 locations. There really was not a lot of like, don't do it here.
Okay. I'm so sorry I have to go to a band concert, but I wanted to watch this, so I came, so I'll try to rush back though. Thank you guys and great job with this.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So do you have any idea as far as, security being one concern? I mean, I bet you, I live in Viewpoint and we're all potable water for our backyards and whatever else. So I can see why people in Viewpoint would want a place close. But do you see any of the three that you've selected here to be better or more secure location?
I think Viewpoint would be more secure slightly over Winnick, but over Wellsville, just because Wellsville would be more trafficked because of the underpass. I think.
Wellsville's a little more remote as far as like where it's at, so as you drive it completely. I think you're right, like we kind of talked about that, but I'm not sure we talked about the why.
The only thing I like about Winnick is that they have road traffic. You know what I mean? So people driving by see something, people are maybe less likely to vandalize. The dead end that Viewpoint's on, while I'm impressed that it's Viewpoint, because that's my personal park, and Viewpoint's the best park. It's at that end of the cul-de-sac, and so if somebody was trying to get away with something, probably could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think realistically, looking at other municipalities, if they're gonna get in, they're gonna get in.
Yeah.
So in all of the communities here in Wellington, probably the street traffic in Winnick is gonna lend itself the best because there's more movement. And if you're gonna get in and destroy something, it's less likely, because the suggestion was to have it on the main road. There is some things that would challenge the city, like there's kind of a, what do you call it?
There's a storm drain,
Yes.
right?
And there's some big pine trees that, what does that look like? So I think that more so than security is probably leaning into like just what's the best site for a garden to make it the
Overall.
most successful. And then where do you look for that second or third site? And maybe that second or third site is actually like the 88 ones located behind this building or wherever that might be. Like there can be recommendations that would come beyond the data of the feasibility study. But the load in of compost, the fencing probably weighs in more than just what's the safest spot.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna get in, they're gonna jump the fence and go in anyway.
The thing about Winnick too is that it's a little more centralized when you talk about the east side accessibility, with the underpass running fairly close to that, it's a little more centralized. And I do think having higher visibility, lighting and houses, you are gonna have all those people who sit right there who probably have Ring cameras and things like that. You're gonna have neighbors that are really concerned about it. Viewpoint, it's really tucked back in and it's by the railroad tracks and it may be noisier. It just seems like Winnick, even though there might be some concerns, it seems a little more centralized.
I mean, I think when the decision's made, if one can go in, there's probably a yes or no for every location. And there's probably not something that says, no, you shouldn't do it here. Like all three places make sense. So if that's where getting the compost and the water, and it's just the lowest cost, that may be the decision maker. And that wouldn't be a bad thing if it ends up in another location. Like this gut feeling says I should go here because it's the easiest to maintain, it's the easiest to put in the sprinklers, it's the easiest to build the program.
Right.
It probably is enough to say that's the place that the garden should go first. Because realistically, the community doesn't have a strong opinion, yes or no, that says don't put it here or put it here. And security wise, it's probably not a huge deal with any of them.
Well, I'm impartial. I want Winnick. I live right there and I would love to drive by and see people gardening and I would keep my eye on it. I live right next to the neighborhood, so I drive that street every single day, so do my kids, so. My opinion is I love the Winnick location. I really do. And I think you said it had access to water pretty close already.
We did.
Good, yeah.
There was a spout.
A tap already.
In the field,
Yeah,
and really closest to-
This is really well done.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information. It's broken out in ways that you can hypothesize and look at what you're doing. I mean, it's a great starting.
I think, from cultivating just a small idea or having a couple different ideas to turning it into this quickly, and doing such a good job of it is very commendable. And I think you did an amazing job of engaging this group as well as, pushing my mind forward to, this will be part of what we push into our master plan and say, this is something that our community holds dear. 90% of people say it's either very important or important.
Probably get up to like 96.
Right.
Yeah.
Of like strongly or
So,
strongly, like that's just
um,
one neutral person that just doesn't care.
And I guess my biggest takeaway is that we'll try to program this as we move forward. It's not just a study, it's something that we'll move forward with. It's always something that I see other communities do, have been part of them in my past jobs, and it's hard to just throw things out there without the community support, but clearly you've done the work to show that it is supported, and at some respect, you might say necessary, right? When that many people support something like that, that's an amenity that is really required at some point, so. Well done. Yeah.
And because she has done this so professionally, like, I mean, I've been really, what is it? 11 years sitting on this board. We have not had anybody come in and do this well of a presentation. The follow through, the study, the analyzing the information, really feeling like we have a completed product, like truly, this is probably the best presentation that we've had. Are we able to put this on the website, the town website, so that people can really see, like, one, you can come and get involved with parks if you have these great ideas. Two, this is an awesome study. Like, can we involve the community?
I think we can. We'll have to kind of figure out in which avenue we go through, but I hope, and we'll work with our contracted firm, but I would love part of this to be directly in the master plan.
Yeah.
In a future program moving forward, so that it would be not just on the website, it would be a document or part of a document that'll live within the annals of Wellington forever.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Well, and being able to use, especially with the data backing you have behind it and understanding what questions are important to ask. If we can use this study as we progress further and get more feedback and, we get more people engaged, you've done the groundwork for us being able to say to people, hey, here are the questions that are really important. Here are the answers we need from you to move forward. I think the one piece that really sticks out to me is how important is access to gardening space? How important is access to gardening space to you, sitting at that important 44%? And then how important is gardening for your mental health, your well-being, and your physical health? And having that 33% as important and 36% is very important says a heck of a lot about our community and what some of our needs are and how we can meet those needs.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of pieces of data that we don't have to turn it into a final draft. I guess this is coming from the co-person, that we can leave it as a draft until it needs to take form, and you're going to let the data be what the data is, but those findings can look a different way based on whether or not you're drawing on a need for financial, like the security, the shed, or is it just the community desire to support it, or is it the location choice? Like, there's a lot of reasons why you might use it. So it briefly touched on several of those things and whether or not we would leave it in a draft form and just sit there until you're ready to use the data. Because she has done technically the silver award part, we can just freeze until the board or Billy, your department is ready to use it, and then we could make sure that that final draft does fit what the goal is, right? Like the data forms stay the same, but the findings can really
Right.
highlight mental health, education,
Right, tie the data into whatever model we're looking to
Right,
use to
like-
move it forward.
what motivates the trustees to support it? What is the, we can turn it into a final draft pretty quick, or we can hold it as a draft and wait for direction as to how we really tailor those findings.
You know, my opinion would be sooner than later, because we do come from a town, it just takes a minute to gain that momentum, right? Like getting it out sooner, getting people excited about it, have, you know, some posts about it, put it on the website, we can, you know, get people talking, right? And then maybe we can, it'll take a minute to get implemented.
And if you can give a final draft to, if Barry Dunn accepts, I mean, that would be ideal, right? Not just, don't give them the rough draft, give them the final.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go.
However you want to do it, yeah, however we should,
Well,
but in
we
my
can
opinion,
always,
sooner than
you know,
later.
if we have a final draft of this, it doesn't mean that the data's going away, right? We could always look back in and pull out other key findings.
And if there is kind of in the next few days that you think about that, we can spend some time in person with her aunt. And, you know, just make sure that it's what they want to turn in as the final draft. And take that word draft off of it and say, here you go. Here it is, it's submitted, and then you can move forward. So if there is
Great.
a particular focus that anyone would have, that would not be hard to work into a finding. So feedback is still okay, even not like tonight.
Awesome.
And I think post spring break, they could have a final draft that could be shared.
Yeah, well, why don't you have spring break for spring break? Not have to think about feasibility studies and forcing your siblings to actually do some digging while you've done the numbering.
Well, we're gonna build a garden in her backyard, so it can happen naturally.
There you go.
She doesn't have one either, so now we're putting in place, but
Excellent.
for, but you know. It can just be natural, but yeah, wrapping it up is maybe a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, we'll let it sit. If there's any comments, let's try to get back and then be ready to move forward if there's anything needed change, but I don't know, I think it's wonderful.
Hugely impressed.
Very good.
Yeah.
So a plug for Girl Scouts, because like a highest award in Girl Scouts is a pretty big deal. In fact, she got it now, what, 6 weeks ago? So it's been a little while. So I was gonna do this last month.
Maybe you want
Alexis
the
didn't
pin?
know about this part, but
Do you want the pin?
no. No, you're fine, leave it attached to you. But this is truly a community award, like it's for the scout, but there's a lot of young scouts in this group or in this community, and I know Wellington's trying to build the scouting program, both the Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts. So, you know, she's making some decisions as to her high school situation and starting to realize that there's some big opportunities, like she was invited because she achieved her gold award already to the University of Denver, silver award, I'm sorry. So she's already had an
Not
opportunity to
gold.
do that. So she has a somewhat of a responsibility when they achieve these highest awards to support and build out community, and also has guaranteed admittance now to the University of Denver, or no, University of Colorado, Denver,
If I get the gold.
when she gets gold. But but she has to make those decisions because that's all on her own. Like this would be not like anybody, like she would have to do all of it. And for someone who does not like dirt or gardening or talking to people, you know, trying to find how to be involved in the community was a bit of a struggle, and we had to learn some how to present to people. So I have no idea what the next steps are, but I guess that'd be the next thing, is that she won't give up on like the potential of the garden, even though the silver award is done. Here, you can have this.
Well, I want to take some pictures.
But there's a
Is
lot
there-
of things to
there might be a
consider,
better
like,
space
as
to
we
take
talked
a
about.
picture
Back here?
than the door,
And this is
yeah.
why we wanna just make sure, like the FAQs, the education is probably big for this community, because they're telling us they want it, but they don't know about it.
Mhm.
Who knows, like 10 people would want it, what size are the gardens, like, there's a lot of like those types of things, like, and then on how do we wanna communicate? So, we had one person that shared their email, so there are maybe still a few loose ends. I would like to reach out to the community person and say, hey, this was part of this, just as her person. We'd looked at setting up the Facebook page, but because of the Girl Scout stuff, we just kind of backed away from it and we focused on the feasibility. And then as the decisions made, whether or not that could grow into another project for her or potentially other scouts. So like, if this group would want, she can certainly liaison that into how do you engage the community from an educational standpoint? Because the structure is there with scouts and because there are certain thresholds to make, you might find opportunities. And Girl Scouts would want me to share that with you all so that, when you're starting to build programming like art in the garden and other things like that, that there might be some service unit things within Wellington, even if it's not her, that would be worth looking at. So it's things to consider.
Good to know.
Definitely. Fees, how you collect fees, there's all those little details.
Oh, yeah.
Can I get a final picture?
Yeah, I would say that, I was just
Well-
thinking there's probably better space than in front of the door.
Yeah, but I just think we should
Emergency exit.
come, yeah, are you right there?
Yeah, cause I wanna, if we're gonna, we'll talk about it, just getting this online and picture and just congratulations for the silver award, all the
Yep.
things.
Good job.
Great job, great job.
I would say the blanket, if there's a reflective surface behind it.
I think you two should do it. In a picture. Because you two are the ones that got her through the dang feasibility stuff.
Go ahead, I got you.
Yeah, like,
You're up. No, no.
that would be much better for this mom to not be in the picture.
I don't know how to do it.
I love her so much. If I never do a feasibility. Love you so much.
It's great.
It was not the easiest journey. Standing in front of Alexis now.
Come on.
Really getting the
Yeah,
photo out, Alexis.
Mom wants a picture with both of you.
You never know, you might be able to use it to get more momentum. Go Orland.
Come on, Orland.
Alexis, show your pin now. Can you move your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Why does this look so dark? Is there a camera?
Smile.
Why is it so dark? It's not my phone.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Glad
Glad you're
Thank
feeling
you.
better too.
Yeah, for sure. Good job.
Good night. You too.
You want a break?
All right.
Can we talk about these stickers while you're breaking?
Eric can.
All right, we're good.
Okay, moving on to events, St. Patty's Day.
Yep. Somehow it's crept up on us. It's this Saturday,
Very quickly.
as everybody knows. Let's just do kind of a quick rundown and then maybe talk about ability, availability, what we're gonna do with float. So basically, we'll be in early, really early. We have to set up the fencing for the beer garden and get everything staged for the trucks that block the roads with our staff. Next big thing will be volunteer help, anybody that's available with the 0.5K fun run. That starts at, registration starts at 9 and we'll go to about 9:45. Then we'll get everybody ready. Right now we have close to 70 people registered for it. I would expect another potentially even double as people understand their plans before in the next few days and then day of. It'd be great to hit the 150 mark, which would be really fun. So we have two people on staff that are ready to take day of registration, but we'll need help at the halfway watering station and maybe just, at the start and the finish, just having people there. Working on getting a photo booth at the finish line. I've got a strong lead there, so we should have that taken care of. I was emailing back and forth today. One of the persons that set up a vending booth is potentially able to do that and then switch over to do the vending booth afterwards. Parade goes, or excuse me, the 25K run goes to about 10:45, which will take down all of the stuff in the middle, just cones and tape to make sure people go around. No cheaters on this race. So we'll need a quick help, just we might have what 25-30 cones just to stack up and set to the side. And then 50, who knows. Then we'll move straight over to the parade / event. I think I'll be driving your truck for the PROST in the parade. We'll also have a rec float truck, car, similar type thing. Maybe some of our spring participants and coaches, we kind of ask them to do it. So we'll see if we get some momentum there. So we'll all have to line up, and whoever wants to be a part of the parade and walk it, I'll drive. Are you?
Well, I'm playing at Owl Canyon until probably right before the parade starts. If we could do a quick changeover, I could jump in the back of the truck, you drive. But our Friday night, did we get any float stuff? Inflatable? Will it fit to the moonroof?
We'll see. We'll give it a shot.
So
We can hope. We can only hope.
what I'm thinking, and this is just an idea, okay? I could throw a speaker, I can plug directly into it, I don't need to set everything up. And so I can have a microphone and the guitar plugged in. But I'm not just gonna go down the road singing by myself. I need who's ever walking beside to learn some of these, at least choruses and claps. And so is that a Friday night deal?
I'm available Friday until 7-ish.
Okay.
But anytime from noon to 7. I can.
So you're thinking for the truck, inflatable going up to the moonroof plugged into the truck. I'm thinking that I'll have a bumper buddy on the back of my truck and a generator that will power the speaker and microphone. It's a quiet generator.
Can you send me a list of what songs?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I won't be able to be there Friday. I've got a dinner already, but
I haven't picked, but I will.
when you get your list together, send me.
Yeah, I will.
Send it to PROST, reply to an email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I'll listen to them and see if I can catch on.
You
by-
can catch on. I mean, it helps if you're inebriated, but
St.
if
Patrick's
you're
Day.
not, then.
John's like, I got this.
That's why I'm driving, everybody. Just throwing that out there.
So, I mean,
I'm kind
If-
of
if-
sad on this
that's an
out.
idea. If somebody else wants to have a better idea, I'm welcome to it. But
I think it's great.
I think it's
I think it's a
fantastic.
great idea.
Great. idea.
Mhm.
so it'll just be the truck. And then everybody around singing on the truck as they walk down the street.
So not decorating the truck?
Well, you can,
We got the gold tassels just to go all the way
Okay.
around the bed of it, so it'll be gold with the
Inflatable? Is it-
inflatable.
Is that a secret? Do we know
No,
the
No,
inflatable?
he just doesn't want things on his truck.
just,
I get that.
you know.
Yeah.
We can tape it to the liner on the top of the bed.
Mhm.
Is it a big leprechaun or what is the?
Yeah,
What's that?
it's a big leprechaun. It's going like that with like part of the rainbow thing.
That'll be amazing. I hope they'll fit, I mean, it's only about that wide.
Well, but think about it though, that, it's not like
It's
those things are
constant,
powerful.
it's constant running.
Yeah, so we
like,
can squeeze
we
it
can
and then
squeeze
it'll
it in
just
and then
pop.
inflate it.
pop
and
out the
hopefully
top.
it's fine.
I love it.
That is awesome.
That's fun.
So, I don't think I'll be
So,
able to fit anybody in the
what-
truck
what-
with me.
You, in the back, you
But the
will, I
leprechaun.
mean,
Yeah, but we want everybody else walking, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, we
singing
do
and-
that, we do.
It's beautiful.
So what time can I?
They were doing
like,
candy.
Do I start tearing down at 10:30?
Whatever you want. We're just happy to have you.
Is
We're
there,
excited.
is there any way,
Jay?
That's candy.
is there any way to come back by Owl Canyon?
Yeah, I can probably, well, yeah, the alleys will be open.
You can get through that one.
I
So I'll
mean,
go straight down the alley to.
if I
first.
can just grab the
We'll fill
speaker
out
and
some
microphone,
spaces.
Mhm.
and then I'll come back afterwards
For
and
anything
then,
else.
and then get the rest of the stuff. I mean, there's not much more, but.
Yeah.
The Parks Department does not have like an inverter generator, really quiet.
Inverter, we only have a gas one, we don't have an electric one. We have inverter, but not a generator. And the only generator that I have at home is gas.
Well, mine's a gas
Super-
generator
mine's
too, but it's,
Mine's like for
Yeah.
camper.
mine's for a camper as well, but it's an it's one of the quieter ones. But I know they make like a Honda's quieter than
They
mine.
have that little suitcase Honda one that's really quiet.
It's also like 3K.
It is.
It's not cheap.
No, do you guys have one?
Mm-mm.
You
Our
know,
big, our big one is louder than anything
Yeah.
else.
I mean, it'll be fine. I can play over it. It's fine. It'll be sitting on the bumper buddy. So,
Can you put the generator hood on it? Not ours.
The, maybe.
do you have a hood?
Like the blow thing is what you're talking about? No, because it's got exhaust. I don't think that'd be. There's not much of that together.
Yeah, it'll work. It'll just be a little, I'll just sing louder and you guys will sing louder.
Mhm.
You gotta join it.
Laurel and
You got,
You guys, it'll depend on how
You've
busy
got
the
em-
shop is.
you've
If the
got
shop's crazy, I
employees.
gotta be in there.
you've got employees.
Is this
Dude, I have
speaker,
6 there, but I
Two.
had to.
we can
Is
go
this speaker
pretty
for the
early, so we're
guitar?
not there.
Yes.
is it amp?
I've got to get
Yeah,
back to
I plug my microphone in
So we can go pretty
and
early.
my guitar to it.
In
What kind
the
of plug does it have?
route, is that what you
Just
mean, Billy?
the-
Like,
Yeah, we'll
like
go,
the first or second?
we'll go
Yeah,
very
first,
early in the
yeah.
route. Same thing with
Okay.
the parks.
We might have
I
a
mean, we might
speaker.
either
Should
be
we
back to
have a
back,
speaker
or
that you can
Yeah.
use?
back to back, or
But,
maybe have one in
or-
between us, but they've got to
Got
get
it.
back because we've all got stuff to do.
Oh,
Okay,
And the-
yeah.
The JBL.
Yeah, I mean,
Let me look.
So,
I think it has a
I
3/4 plug.
can be there to volunteer.
definitely
My
has a mic
sister
plug.
can
if
volunteer.
it's got a mic plug.
We have
Yeah, it's
6
got the-
kids
it's a-
between
you have
us
the
that
XLR
Yeah.
cable, the 3
Yeah.
prong thing.
Yeah.
wanna walk.
It's got
Okay.
that for sure.
Ride.
The only thing I don't know.
They
is
don't need to
I'm
ride.
Great.
like
Do we
98%
have stuff
sure
to
it's got
hand
that.
out?
We'll talk about that.
3/4
Okay.
plug, but I'll look
We've
tomorrow.
got,
Okay,
we've got to
my
stay
little
very much within the regulations of
match,
handing it out and not
mixer
throwing
board.
it.
I can go one out of that too.
For safety
In-
reasons.
Yeah.
and getting kids
That
out.
doesn't go,
Yeah,
that
Um,
cord doesn't go
so-
into the XLR though.
so for that
That's just-
portion, what are we thinking Friday timing wise at your place?
My place,
That's where the truck is.
okay. I'll be home. Tell me when you wanna come.
Like I said, I'm pretty open from noon till 6:30.
Okay.
I can come by earlier. iStone's having their roller skating fundraiser that night, so I'm going to that. But I can come by.
And Sarah, you're not gonna be there?
Nope. We
Is your-
leave Saturday morning for spring break.
Okay.
Is your truck garaged?
No.
Friday might be rough.
Oh,
Do
you're right.
it.
You're
Oh,
right.
shoot.
That's true.
We're supposed to have a high wind,
That's right.
rain.
Do you
snow.
have a spot in the garage for it?
don't have a spot in the garage for any of our stuff.
Do we
Well-
need to decorate Friday or can we do
We
it
can try to
Saturday
do it
It's
morning?
probably gonna be
Real
pretty
quick.
quick to decorate.
Yeah,
Be fast.
we can do it.
I was
And
gonna say,
then
it could be-
because
it
you'll
could
have
be
my
done
truck from-
while it's sitting in the dry.
Mhm.
I can get to
Or
her
maybe-
shop,
Yeah.
I can get to Owl Canyon earlier. And that way you've got my truck from
It's there.
8 AM to
Okay,
whenever you need
Okay.
it.
That works.
that
I
works.
can come help at that morning.
That'll be good. Maybe we just say,
Can we-
since we're
can-
volunteering
Just do it at the
anyways, we
station
just do it at 8. You'll drop your truck off. Well, we gotta pick him back up, so after she's done performing, and then we'll just,
So
It'll need to be
10:30-ish. I just need somebody swinging by.
we're just leave the
Or
truck
I could
there.
have my wife pick me up.
Just, why can't you just leave the truck there? If you're
Why not
gonna
just-
decorate it behind the shop, why can't
Yeah.
you just leave it
Leave
there?
it at Elk Canyon, and then I'll just
There's
drive down the alley to
Yeah.
the staging area.
Yeah,
I
there's,
can park
Oh,
back
that
there and then
works.
it gets decorated.
yeah, I'll have John.
Yeah, well, we're gonna. do
Okay.
I
the
sent
staging
John.
area.
Um, Yeah, he'll
There's
leave that
no way
spot
we're
open,
gonna
then you can just pull
tell
back in
where
there and then.
Caitlin knows how to.
We just need
Same
to hear
thing
from
with
Billy
parks,
where
of course.
where everybody's allowed to park this time.
For what?
So he's good to have his truck there, just as everybody else, we're showing up. Is there any off limit parking?
All the barricades got moved forward.
Yep, there'll be all the alleys will be open except for the alley on the north side from second to third, and that's because of the beer garden.
Is the parking available over at the
Yes.
sheriff?
Yes, but some will be reserved
It's all-
for ADA.
I think most of it is.
Okay,
So no.
No.
I would say. Just to be
With
safe.
the streets,
Yeah.
everything around.
I think if we
there.
get there early enough, there'll be plenty of parking.
Absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah, and if you just park behind the shop
Yeah.
if you can,
We'll just leave it open.
and then once the 0.5K is over, we'll just rally in, drive
Okay.
down the alley and
Go pick
we'll
up
have some
parking.
codes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure the staging area is ready for us to just cruise in.
Okay.
Jump in the parade.
Sounds like fun.
So no on Friday, Saturday.
No, on
morning.
Friday, I'll
Okay.
send you song lyrics.
Okay.
And people
kinda
that aren't here are
sad to
gonna
miss
think it's
that.
very weird.
I love to sing.
You're missing out.
You could leave like at 1. Are you flying or driving?
No, we're driving. but-
Okay, you can leave whenever then.
My
Just-
husband's
just
driving,
some
I'm on
warning.
his schedule.
So right after the parade, whoever wants to can come over to the vendor area. There's not a ton that's gonna need to be there, but having a presence there would be good. We'll have a town booth. There'll be carriage rides coming from that area, going around, and then,
That's after the parade.
well, it starts at the same time as the
Okay.
parade, but since we're all gonna be in the parade, we would then go over, but the
Okay.
vendors open at 11 at the same time as the parade starts.
Okay.
And they're open till 3, just like the beer garden. All roads except for 3rd Street from Harrison to Cleveland, and then that alley, 2nd to 3rd. Everything else is getting opened back up at 1.
Okay.
After the parade and the clean up.
And there will be an after party at Devon at 3:30.
So what do we think? 8?
I'm gonna
8:30,
show up
something
to her
like
shop
that?
about 8.
8.
I
Okay.
wrote 8 already, so yeah.
Okay, 8
8
o'clock.
o'clock sounds great.
Yep,
That's
and we'll be in and around, hopefully.
Trucks will be in place at 8 o'clock, just so everyone's know. Like the hard barricades.
Yeah.
I'll get put at 8. And our safety meeting's at 8:30. I know,
I think it's 8:30.
that's 8:30. Yeah. That works. So yeah, we'll have everyone in place. Sounds great.
For volunteering, is there anything we need to know or wear or do or?
Did you bring those? Yeah, look at that, 'cause I'm out
Oh,
of
look at that, we got name tags.
it. There's a typo. You'll just get used to
Yep,
it.
and there's a typo.
That is typo.
These are really the
Seriously?
first one.
Oh my God, you jinxed it.
I know. You know what?
I'll
the-
make it into a little like heart or something. No.
It's just I.
Is it on yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's annoying
This
too,
is
because
great,
I
though.
definitely typed I, so that's not even me.
It-
Because I double checked that one too. I was like, where is it? I checked the minutes.
I'm really glad you spelled my name with an H on the end. Thank you.
Like I said, I double checked everyone, so it's not a me typo, that was a printer typo.
No, but this is cool. These are great.
It's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Just, unplug at the after party. That's all I'm asking. You know,
Lame.
Yep. Yes.
I'm a town representative.
That's
You
how
can't
logo
talk to
on,
me
so.
like that.
Do you know who I
You
am?
know who I am. There you go. That's the
Please
one.
use that one.
Yeah, pull me over, Ossifer.
That's right.
Okay, 8 o'clock and we'll roll.
Okay.
Fun.
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day. I just kind of threw that in there because it's the next event. I'll get the proclamation out. There's a board meeting on the 22nd. Last year it was like the full week before because the every other week, but this will be on the 22nd, the week of, which is pretty good. And we'll do it at Harvest Park. Still looking for all of the companies that are come there, but we actually have a couple leads on maybe a couple more booths this year, but we'll do our park and play and then the tree demonstration. And then Ross tries to get out of Arbor Day every year, but he's gonna come and do his thing from the library. Yeah, I think that event is kind of like a plug and
It's an easy one.
go, it's fairly similar every year, just rotated around different parks. If anybody has suggestions of things that we could do outside of what we usually do, we'll have, yard games, inflatables, all the fun things. We're hoping to possibly have sports there, but I don't think the turf is quite ready to switch soccer over to that park. So
Could do a mid-season switch.
yeah, we could do a mid-season switch.
We'll see where growth is at that point.
Yeah, one of the problems with that in the spring season anyways, is we don't fully control the irrigation there when it gets turned on. So we have to wait for those pumps to get turned on by the contractors. If we get some rain and get some good growth, then we might be able to, but after the irrigation comes on, we might be able to get over there and get turf kicking and painted and stuff. So just a thought, it would be really fun to have it at one of the sports days, or around soccer.
Yeah.
But might just be its own little celebration. So this isn't like a 100% done flyer yet, because we don't have the WPL on there and any contractors that want to come and present, but
Insert possible partners here.
Yeah.
That's great.
but we'll try to get that done and get it out separately so everybody can kind of start pushing it or liking it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Posting it on the little libraries front so that they can't see the books, just our stuff. All good. No, obviously not. Yep. And please stop me and
No,
throw stuff
go,
out there if we're good. Yep, and then the next event will be some sort of a ribbon cutting at the dock prior to this. We want to, as we spoke about, I think it's probably the best route is to do more of a ceremony rather than a crazy everybody jumps on the dock first day fishing day, like trying to do a ribbon cutting with the Kiwanis Club and the donuts and the park and play. Like that's just too much. I want it to be more of a remembrance special day. And then this is like it's like a soft opening inauguration, and then come and use it on Kids to Park Day.
Yeah. Could you do it just the Friday night before? Or
Um,
does that feel too condensed?
it might be a little too condensed. We could look into that.
Kevin was pretty open. He said he didn't have anything going on that would get in the way, so I think he was kind of open to dates.
Yeah, well, I would like the trustees to be there, so I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
I need to get with Paddy Garcia and see in her one-on-ones what dates might work for them, whether it's a weekday or a Friday or a Saturday prior to. The one thing that would be positive about that, the Friday before, the day before, would be the pond would be full hopefully, if the water comes in. It's always kind of a question mark because we don't have any control of when that ditch runs. It's always been open from what I know for this event. Some years a little bit tighter window than others. But it would be really cool to have the ribbon cutting when the pond is full and the dock is up and all that
This
stuff.
event usually gets moved because of it, because they always try to schedule it earlier. You usually have to wait till around this weekend for water.
Right, they always try to do it before the actual kids to park
Mhm.
stuff, so. So yeah, the ribbon cutting TBD, but I will try to get that on the calendar as soon as possible so we know and everybody can be prepared, because that'll be, like I said, a little smaller, but all the key members that went into it. First and foremost, Kevin.
Awesome.
So, and then I think it was, I believe it was Norman's idea that we're gonna fire off some little event at multiple different parks, not just Wellville. So we're in Wellville,
Oh, I know.
Library Park, and
I think one at Viewpoint.
Viewpoint for where the sports are, at least. So we can maximize our personnel as well. Rather than getting stretched outside of that, but
And we'll have maps by then, right?
yeah, since we're talking about it.
Yeah. So chatted with Jerry. We're gonna stick with the exact same like size as it was last time. Just make some changes onto the like layout and descriptions and all that kind of stuff. And then on the backside, work on like a different layout for like when it opens to, you know, be more of advertising, hopefully like for us, and then hopefully open up sponsorship opportunities as well. To sell those types of things, but yeah, it's in process. So we sat down with Jerry last week?
Last
Last
week.
week.
Just getting it
And
rolling.
he's been working on it.
He
So-
feels like it's feasible to have out this spring.
I would think so.
He said he shouldn't take him too long.
Okay,
So,
great.
and then we'll do kind of the digital one once we can get the drone there, but we'll try to get the maps out sooner rather than later.
Just love to pass them out, right? At these events,
Yeah.
Arbor Day, and especially kids to parks and be like, we have all these parks, go
Yeah.
see them. We got cool stuff.
And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up, and I should have stated this first, is that we really would like to have as many people at these from PROST, because we are going to start, if everything goes well, start using these events as key points for the master plan outreach. So having people at these, I mean, it doesn't have to be everybody at every single one of them, but you know, especially Kids to Park Day, when we're at 3 different parks, if we could have a representative at each park to just kind of catch whatever information that we're looking for at the time.
That's on my calendar.
Okay. I think that's those few. Yeah, what is next?
4th of July.
Do you want to talk about 4th of July already?
Yes.
We need to.
Oh,
You want to take it away?
No, fine. 4th of July is happening.
This year it's actually going to be on the 4th of July,
Oh, snap.
which is Friday,
yeah.
Friday. Yup.
which is a Friday,
Yes.
Which is a
Thank
good
goodness is a true
it's a
statement.
good and a bad
Don't
thing.
have to show up to work the next day.
You know what, not a lot we hope is going to change. Cleveland will still be open. We'll still do everything that we typically do. One slight change will be that we're going to stretch some of our staff a little longer into the day. So we'll have a parade portion of it. We'll have the festival portion of it. We're actually going to send some people, possibly a supervisor and a couple people to be at the fireworks area, so that we have, in the past, we haven't had staff there to help with any restroom issues and crowd issues and people that are parking where they shouldn't be parking and
Park there.
getting
That
into
doesn't
the blasts. Well, yeah, I mean, it's fun. But standing under the shrapnel isn't what's supposed to happen, which we'll have to figure out, but that'll be a little bit of a change, just more internally and operationally. But kind of felt in one of our early planning meetings that that was the best way to go to move forward, not to overstaff it and I don't want to say, because we're not, but over police it, quote unquote, but just be there for support. Since it is part of the town's event, we feel like we should have staff there and
Before and during the parade too, there's lots of volunteer opportunities if anyone is able and willing, especially as we're doing like vendor setup at the park, all that kind of stuff. I know Caitlin always needs extra people for that. And
yes.
we as a department will have 6 inflatables this time, so extra hands always make light work of those. So.
Is there any thought about putting up the, cause well, I don't know if it'll work beforehand, but sometimes it takes a long, people get there early and get set up and to sit and watch the fireworks and they kill a lot of time. Have you guys thought about rolling out the big inflatable screen and showing like a movie or something?
Well, there is the screen there that we pay for. What's it? There that shows the preamble
Time sync
to
video.
yeah,
Okay.
in the time synced video. Not something that would be out of the possibility, other than just our staff is staff time and availability to do that.
Right.
We could look into that and looking into the logistics. We do have a good amount of days already set for
Okay,
movies
good.
in the parks this
Awesome.
year. Our first go of it, so.
Okay.
Adding more that day, I'll be honest, is kind of a little bit tough on the
Yeah.
town and stretches us.
For
but
sure.
Good idea.
Can we have extra, and I don't know what it costs, but extras of the maps and rec program stuff? Like I feel like 4th of July is a really great time. As much as I think a lot of people love the rec program and they are excited about it, you still hear people going, I didn't know.
Oh,
I didn't even know there
absolutely.
was one. So I think it's a really great time where we could maybe pass out some flyers or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we usually have like some handouts in our booth, like where we're giving stuff away.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, the whoever's selected for the master planning process will likely have a booth there right next to us or nearby. So yes, I think a big difference is like in the past, the focus has been on like things that people can register for in that moment. And so, hopefully the goal would be to like have a trifold and the maps and like that kind of stuff that is not just, hey, here's what's happening right now, but like, hey, look out for, fall if you're already signed up
Yeah.
for summer sports somewhere, or you're, doing competitive baseball or whatever it might be. But yeah, if that's, something and you all are there, you can swing by and we can just have stacks for you to take if you want to help hand them out or hang out and hand them out. That's always an option too. That table is pretty much just nonstop cycling people through. So
Okay.
I'm sure staff wouldn't mind, just a water break to get some
Yeah.
hydration in, while you guys are there too. So yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, even, hour-long shift to come help out, helps out a ton.
Makes lunging easier for everybody and all that fun stuff.
What's your email address? CW. Got it.
Well, not that I hate to volunteer us all for more, but will PROST do a float for the 4th of July parade?
This was last year.
Okay,
one last
so
year's
that,
Yeah, it
is
was
there
cool.
any reason that we can't, instead of handing, maybe some of us hand out candy and maybe some of us hand out maps to parks to parents or our pamphlet with Veterans Memorial Garden? I mean, that is the biggest event of the year when it comes to our community being out and participating. And so I think all of those are good touch points that we should have material for.
Yeah.
by
I think
then.
whoever's handing it out, like we can do candy and that, it would just be a pre-party,
Yeah.
while we're decorating, maybe like a way to attach candy to
Tape
all
it
of
on.
these handouts, tape, whatever,
Yep.
just making sure we're doing that before.
Mhm.
Or then like, here, take candy and
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
this pamphlet to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Child.
Yeah.
They don't want paper.
Right.
They just want bubble gum.
Oh, yeah. So do
Can't
I.
blame 'em.
As an adult, I don't have the pamphlets. I'm just kidding.
At least ours are interesting.
But I do
Yeah.
think that those,
Yeah.
you know, if we're looking to get maps into people's hands,
Yeah.
there's the opportunity.
All these touch points. So, back up here too, is just all of our,
Ignore the code on the right.
yeah, that just got taken in there. These are all the movies in the park added to other events that we're
Can you roll
part
that up?
of.
That's like so small. Thanks.
So part of the
Oh.
goal with a few of these, especially the, you know, the ones in Centennial, is to pair up and get people to stay downtown and get people to stay engaged in what's going on downtown already.
Mhm. Love it. Is that information all gonna be posted on Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Goes out in
Um,
the town newsletter ahead of time, as well as
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook.
that would
That's
also be valuable information to put on something we're handing out on 4th of July.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll have events list on that trifold.
sweet.
We'll try to avoid like specific dates on the maps so that they don't, expire come
Throw it out.
January 1st,
Yeah.
2026. But yeah, dates on the trifolds and stuff for sure. Absolutely. But we'll still have like info about events, like keep an eye for our events or QR codes, all that kind of stuff on those maps. So
Awesome.
We could let the breweries know about those dates and they could do like a $1 off beer,
Mhm.
and then head to the park kind of thing.
I think all, and if any of those fall around the Mingle on Main, same sort of thing. I mean, that's getting posters with all of this up that we can hang in downtown businesses would be
Yeah.
ideal. I think if we can utilize, I mean, it's again, that collaboration piece. Let's let our businesses do some of the work for us and let's make sure that we're promoting them in the same instant,
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's fun.
once we get this all, I mean, these are the dates that we have. We've gone through a lot of iterations of scheduling through all the events and all the things that we're involved in and all the sports. So the dates are, let's just say, pretty darn solid for these. And there's a potential for maybe one more at the end of this, depending on weather, like something right before, weeks before Halloween, a little bit after, back to school, something like that. Yeah. But with all of the sports that are going on in the other events, then we'll get something a little more formal out, but I just wanted to snap this and throw it in here so you guys could see it and maybe utilize this to put in your calendars ahead of time and
Yeah.
just
That's
at least start
awesome.
putting bugs out there, and then we'll get something ready to go out for businesses.
Very cool.
Good. All sorts of movies.
I'm
Let's hope
excited.
it works.
I like that you're doing that with the market on Main too. I think that's great.
Yeah, and the one we've got,
August.
the June 7th. So we
Oh.
got the Brew Fest going, and then we're gonna do right after Brew Fest, we'll do a movie in the park at WCP, which we thought would be pretty cool with the kids getting done at the splash pad. When that shuts off, we'll turn the movie on in the auxiliary field.
September 19th is the Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yes. September 19th, National Talk Like a
Love
Pirate
it.
Day. Pirate movies in the park, but also
Pirates
in
of the Caribbean.
conjunction with PROST Pirate Party.
Love it.
Hook.
That was my first thought.
That was my first toss
Love
out too.
Hook.
Yeah, I said Hook.
I said Goonies.
Goonies is
Love-
there.
Oh,
See, I
Goonies
said
is
Goonies
so
too, and then
good.
you're like, that's not even a pirate movie. I was like, you guys.
Oh,
I always
so
forget
ridiculous.
about it as a pirate movie. I'm a Pirates of the
Totally.
Caribbean fan.
Sure, that was thrown
personally,
out there.
We have options.
but So many
Yours.
options.
So fun.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
You could dress as, hey, you guys.
Yes. I love that.
Perfect.
Sloth. Sloth. Ready to move on?
Next.
Shall we? What is next?
Dock ceremony,
Oh, we kind
kind of hit on that
of jumped
already.
around that a
Yeah.
little bit. I will make sure and try to get that on the agenda for the following week, next week's with Paddy's talk. So yeah.
Great.
See what works.
WCP Memorial updates.
So that also will go out. I know that the PROST approved the naming change, but I just wanted to make sure that it went to the board. Because I needed to make sure something that large for the community doesn't just like, hey, PROST decided this is what we're going with. Don't know if we'll need to present it at a board of trustee meeting. It might just, again, will be presented in conversations with town administrator and the board of trustees individually or as a group, maybe outside. And if they want to bring it in, I might just have to do something that presents it. But her suggestion initially was just to write an email. So I'll write her an email, and then if they understand where we're coming from, as we've discussed for months and months on this and going to different communities and different engagement pieces, I'll put all of that in there and just say this is a way that we can feel like it's ours, not, tying back to memorials or veterans plazas that are in local communities. So, and then if we get the okay there, great. If not, then I'll possibly just need to go present, or someone from here could present.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll just get the rubber stamp.
Well, if we need it, I can go.
Okay,
For sure.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
They don't say no. Nobody says no to John.
That's right. Space looks great. Love seeing all
Yeah.
that dirt
Yeah.
over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll, I don't know,
Yeah.
you want to update now or?
Sure. Yeah, so Friends of Wellington is almost official. We have filed and we have an EIN. We are filing for the 501c3. We have started a bank account so we can begin to collect money. We are working on a logo, so we'll have that. We have a Facebook page, we have an email address. We're recognized at Google as like a business, like a 501c3. I know.
Ooh, look at
Um,
you.
So it's moving along. We've also started some conversations about like donation tiers and what that can look like, but we're not quite there yet, but we're talking about that. I would say my ask, because I've had a lot of conversations in the community over the last couple of weeks, and people are like, that's really interesting that the town can't collect fundraising for this. And so I guess I'm asking, like, are there specific talking points that I should be saying why the town can't fundraise? I just want to
Yeah.
be saying the right thing.
We can take donations, just flat out
Mhm.
donations, but we can't do fundraising.
Okay.
And the write-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I've been focusing on when talking to people, is the whole reason behind doing it as a 501c3 is so that we can do it where businesses can donate and it's a tax write-off, and phrasing it more along and just saying like, then we also know that this is specifically, we can start to gather tiers and set that up for businesses that want to donate. Have you had people specifically asked about why it's not through the town?
Yes.
Interesting.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that language okay?
Yeah, there is a chance that we're going to be able to have the ability to write stuff off. We never have, and that might change for what we do with sponsorships. But we still don't know that 100% yet. And with this group outside, we can't, as a town entity, we couldn't use it as a platform to gain more, right? So everything would have to go directly to the fund for the community, the veterans garden. We couldn't host an event to raise money with the money that we have from the donations. So we can't leverage any of the money to hopefully bring in more. We can't use it for signage. We can't use it for, anything really like that. That has to come out of a different budget because it's just donated to that fund.
Mhm.
This is at least how I understand it, and I am no financial guru. But we are actually, because we're trying to get a more robust sponsorship package out there. We have it through parks, and we're just trying to get it going. I guess 2025 is kind of a kickoff. 2026 is going to be a little bit more push for it, but those are just specifically for sponsoring, like, I don't know, if someone wanted to sponsor a specific sport for the year or be on our program with a logo or on jerseys, or there's all sorts of different options we put out there, or any events. Like they can sponsor to be, you know, the sponsor of movies in the park. Or something like that. But we can't, that goes directly into just our revenue lines. So if they do, let's just say someone wants to give $20 like they have in the past, that's just for like the building and construction portion of that. But
So
we have-
it would be good to have, even if it's just like one sentence
okay.
about
Yeah.
why we're moving in this direction, would probably just be a good portion.
It's
to
interesting
include.
because it's also the credibility of this 501c3. Like people haven't, I mean, actually Friends of Wellington, people are like, oh, I've heard of that. And I'm like, no,
No,
this
you
is the new
haven't.
Friends of Wellington.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, why am I going to donate to this organization? And do I trust that my money is actually going? So there's some, like, we're going to have to
Sure.
build up our
Yeah.
own
Uh-huh.
credibility.
Mhm.
So that, I just want to I want to make sure I'm saying the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being maybe when it's all said and done, ready at Main Street at
Setting up
one
at
of
like
our
a
parking
mingle.
plays and
Mhm.
setting up at a mingle,
Yeah.
Mhm.
something that shows a little bit of credibility there, and being able to
Talk
Yeah.
about
You
what
know,
we're doing.
go
Absolutely.
through the right channels, you know, sign up, you're 501c3, so a lot of times the booths can be, you know, called, but you're there at a town event
Yeah.
talking about that, and then at that, you can do raffles, you can do whatever it is that you're allowed to do that we just can't do.
Yeah.
I think once we have stuff set up, you know, and the Facebook page is up and rolling and we have a logo and we have kind of our wording down, it'll feel a little different.
Yeah.
And maybe part of that also is the town posting about, if you could even share something that we post, or whether the town could say, hey, we want to acknowledge, these are the people who are on the board for this nonprofit. They're also part of our PROST advisory board.
Right.
Here is the reasoning behind it. Just so there's that joint kind of collaborative
Yeah.
message that comes out will help too.
I totally agree. Yeah, that was the whole thing with the folks that we're talking with at Brewfest. She's like, well, the town website still says Memorial Plaza. And I'm like, right. So it's just a matter of like, we all need to be on the same page and saying the same things.
But
So-
that's also big. I don't know, you didn't mention
No, go
that.
ahead. Yeah.
So Glory is who helps to now manage the Brewfest. She works in collaboration with Tara, and I believe Megan's still involved. And so Glory had managed the Brewfest last year, and she reached out to me and said, hey, tell me about, you know, I talked with Tara and our group, and they want 20% of the sponsorships that they gather for Brewfest. They want 20% of those funds to be donated to the Wellington Veterans Garden, the Veterans Garden at Wellington Community Park, which is a huge piece for us that already we know we're going to have that coming in. So there's also going to be that promotion around that and the collaboration around that with Brewfest. And so I connected Glory and Jesse, the three of us. And that was Glory's piece, was like, okay, well, when I'm looking on the town website, and do you have a picture, and do you have a logo and those
Yeah.
sorts of things? So that is really where we are as a push with all of this, is to get that sort of messaging
Right.
out.
It's super
you know,
exciting. Like
Yeah, it's
we've
a
got
big deal.
momentum. Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
Nice.
You know, one way also to phrase it is like, if you work with them on a specific night, like, and they say, hey, $1 goes to,
Mhm.
they can take that and donate to us, but it's just like a one-way donation,
Yeah.
whereas if they open up a room and you guys want to do like $5 to spend, and you know, like 20% of it goes, you know, back to you because you win a prize, and then 80% of it goes to our 50, you know, like we can't do that kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it provides
It's
us a
just-
lot more flexibility
Right.
when it comes to
Right,
raising
and I think
Okay,
funds.
that's
that idea
helpful.
is building
Yeah.
the credibility, like
Right.
Mhm.
silent auctions and all that stuff that had been discussed before when we were trying to do that. And it was like, nope, we can't do that
Yeah.
anymore. It's like, I don't have the ability. We can take donations.
Yeah.
So they can just say, do the marketing, fundraising rules, and with, it's not receipts, but
you know,
Tax write-off.
tax,
Tax,
yeah,
yeah.
tax write-off.
Tax forms or something like
Yeah,
that.
and again, like rolling out sponsorship levels and tiers and that, Jesse's already taken a stab at some of that, and so
Yeah.
it allows us to kind of work and
Yeah.
really push that.
It's really exciting.
Just always blame the limitations posed on governments for what they can do with money, make it a lot more
That's
difficult.
it.
And
Yeah.
that's- Most people go, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we
Yeah.
wanna make sure that people understand we're not trying to skirt that, like, we're
Oh,
allowed to
yeah.
take the
Yeah.
donations, but we're really reaching out and trying to
This
push
allows us
this
to
as a
do
community.
other things.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
allows us to raise funds in various different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without the constraints of
Yeah.
having you donate to a small government.
Government entity, yeah. Yep.
Yes. Good. So the only other thing I would say is the donation tiers, as we're trying to frame that, and again, this is super early, but like knowing what our target goal is in terms of how much money we want to raise, and so that backs into, then what are we fundraising for? So again, super high level draft of ideas for what that can look like for the garden. But then if we look at tiers, like how many people we need to donate or businesses we need to donate at those tiers. So it's all
Okay.
a little bit fluid. but
Yeah,
we-
it's
we
gonna
need-
mean we need to sit down and dial in some of those fundraising numbers.
So cost is gonna be
Yep.
absolute,
I will tell you, that's what people are asking, like, how
Mhm.
much are you trying to raise?
Mhm.
So,
yeah, and
yeah. Right.
But again,
A
those,
million? Did
those
you just ask for
phases,
$1 million?
the first phase is getting the concrete in, or, like
Yeah.
if we can say to people, hey, this is the first thing we need to get to, then there's that level of, okay, here's the push. Here's our goal is to get this. Okay, what's the next one? Well, maybe this business is willing to pay $20,000 for a flagpole, or I have no idea cost. I'm throwing ideas out there, but you know what I mean? Like those then become the things. And especially if Brewfest is going to be pushing us, this again builds into all of those, like having it ready for 4th of July, having it ready for all the things coming down the pipe.
I think that's it.
We're ready to like grab the bull by the horns, in case you couldn't tell, so
It's
let's
exciting.
go.
Yeah.
You guys are doing really good. It's very exciting. Thank you.
Jesse's taking the reins on this one, so
Thank
it's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. So we move on? Park tours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's not enough to do. I don't know, I'm just gonna leave that up to you all about scheduling, and it's hard.
I know for me, like, we're just crazy right now and have a lot going on personally and professionally, so it's just kind of hard for us to get to stuff. I'm sorry.
One thing I was kind of thinking is, in the next 3 or 4 months, we're gonna be at a lot of different parks and a lot of different events, and my personal opinion is if we can all, as a group, set aside, I know I'll be working, but a lot of times I do have a little bit of time at these events we can just chat a little bit about what's going on, what the future improvements could be, and where we're at, meet the people where we're at. So use that time to volunteer, and then a little bit of that time while we're all there together, or a few of us at a time can go through some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it is very difficult. But when we pinpoint these events and say, oh, and also the Saturday after, we're gonna try to get together and go to the other side. But then in 3 weeks from now, we'll have a movie at the dock at Wellville. And it's like, well, we'll be here in a couple weeks. So that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
And again, on Fridays, I'm pretty open, so I'm definitely down to meet anyone, anywhere for just a little bit.
My Fridays just have ended up filling up so fast,
can't-
so I'm
So
sorry.
true. It happens. But just keep that in mind as well. That I'm available Fridays, or any day during the week if you want. Eric or I can set aside some time and just cruise with you. So let's just, I'll leave it on an individual basis if you want to get a hold of us, and then otherwise try to do events.
Like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Gets packed, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
PROST master plan and community center feasibility study.
All right, so just an
Update.
update on this. The selecting committee or the review committee got it down to, 2 firms that we did in-person interviews with both of the firms, was that last week?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Last
Thursday.
week, and 2 weeks ago, jeez. We've got a strong consensus on one of the firms that we would like to move forward with, so next steps are, we've been in contact with them and then just trying to understand, exactly how we move through the contracting phase. We have it tentatively on the April 8th Board of Trustees meeting to go in front of them and present the contract for award. I have to have all the information in for that by the 31st, so we'll see. Crossing fingers, because the next available one is not till April 22nd, because the one in between is I think it's an executive session. But anyways, so we really want to try to get it in.
Okay.
On the 8th, that's my goal.
So you're going back and forth with attorneys, legal departments. You have
That's what
to
we
have
have
all
to
that
do
done prior to the board meeting,
31st. Yeah,
before the packets due.
yes, before the packets
Okay.
to. That's why it's. We'll see.
Yep.
Good.
It's exciting.
Glad we're moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yes,
Thank you all.
Really important.
yeah. It's been a process already, but this just is like, it's gonna be a year of engagement, right?
Mhm.
So, you ready?
It's good. I'm excited about that. That's like my favorite thing to do,
I love it too.
so. Throw it at
He
me.
does all the work, I just go there and talk to people and hang out.
Hey, doing, hey, doing.
Good.
Yeah, that, I'll just say one thing, that the process in which they're selecting and bringing in the 2 was a great process that without that second round of interviews would have never, it may not have yielded what it did.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, I mean, Billy and Eric did a good job putting it together, and the people they have on staff there that were sitting for the meetings and helping. It was just, yeah, we can go into it after award, but
Yeah, and we can, now that we haven't done an award yet, so once we will roll out the red carpet and go.
I'm just excited. I'm glad you guys can, and I'm glad PROST is part of it. Like, it's nice to feel like,
Very much.
big, everybody's invited. It's nice.
Huge portion of it. And unfortunately, John couldn't make it because when we had to schedule them, it was during work time, but he gave opinion and gave us the okay to move forward and push with them, the 2 companies, so.
Yay.
awesome.
yeah.
It's great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's coming. Like a freaking train.
Outreach and marketing.
Oh, yeah, last meeting, we had talked about either compiling a list or at least throwing all, we have some key stakeholders there, but like who all we can start pushing some of our outreach and marketing to, kind of right along the lines of all the stuff with, Main Streets, but also Mingle and the breweries and stuff. I don't know, do we want to get into that tonight and try to build a list, or?
I think let's create a document and we can contribute.
Okay. Is that something you want to put on your
Yeah.
plate? Just maybe a couple of different categories, businesses.
Yeah.
Other nonprofit organizations.
Yeah, I think, my piece has always been that I think there needs to be more Facebook presence when it comes to who we are and what we're doing. And I think that the Friends of Wellington nonprofit will give us a little more freedom there to share things and put out information. And so I'd like to see that. I mean, I know we talked about like a PROST, doing some PROST information on our the town Facebook page, but I know that that's always kind of a challenge, so.
It's hard because there's so many different polls from all the different departments and
Yep.
the engagement piece is just like, we don't want it to fall off, so it has to be very strategic.
I'm
Um,
hoping that this can help with that, yeah.
that would be great. Especially talking more and reposting, because a lot of times, you know, when we do our posts, they go out to, well, we have constant contact for emails and we're pushing it out as much as we possibly can / should. But you know, when a town newsletter goes out and it's every department has to say, doesn't have to, but says 2 or 3 different things, you know, capturing that and highlighting it for just our purpose. We can't really do that with the town newsletter. Now we can put some stuff out every once in a while along with other posts, but we can't flood it to the whole town all the time. So having that option would be great. And we're really we've talked a lot internally about, especially when events start, doing more live updates or day before updates and then live updates of what's happening at our events. Again, that's, you know, certain access to certain people and being able to use that is still with the government always a little bit.
I think the outreach into our businesses again is a big, having them know what's coming up and going on, and it allows them to plan their events around knowing what's happening and how they can promote that in a way that also promotes their business. So that's an outreach and communication that I'd like to see increased.
More posters.
Now I get text messages when like agendas are posted. Is there an ability to just like subscribe to like the rec part of it? Where like when we're having an event, we have a QR code and it sends you where you could actually subscribe to being in those text messages, because I get them nonstop. I get like the trustee stuff, planning commission. Anytime there's a agenda updated, I get it in a text. Can we do anything like that with rec? Word stuff.
I'll look into that.
Because that comes from the town calendar, right? On the back end? Or is
Not the
that's just
calendar,
Civic
but that
Plus?
would come from the Civic Plus Archive Center.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure how you can tie into it.
There is the Park and Rec's calendar you can subscribe to. I don't know if you guys have talked about that already, but I like the text too.
Yeah.
And like town halls, all the big things it usually doesn't.
I didn't even know about that. So maybe that's also something that we can work on promoting more. Again, it's just another way to say to people, well, look, hey, we did this information. It's there if you want it.
Yeah. It's all, calendar's all on the website, but yeah. you get
I didn't know about the
specific to that.
texting though, piece. So.
I think they even show job openings. I think I'm on a different one for job openings. I get those all the time too.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
I'll just select and subscribe on the other end of things. Agenda.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to move on?
Yeah.
Library shade.
So this is a CIP from our general fund, not the parks fund. That came out for putting a shade out where that concrete was poured, so Ross can do, and we can set some more programming outside rather than having to put up a shade structure every single time, just like a little one. So it's approved in the budget. These are the 2 types that really would work. The top one is a cantilever style. It's just got the 2 posts, like much more modern looking, facing out towards the street. So there's kind of an entrance look to it rather than the 4 posts. But
Facing into the library.
yes, what I said.
You said facing into the street.
Yep, sorry.
The wind ratings good on that.
Yep.
I like that option.
It looks cool.
Yeah. The color would be fairly similar to that.
That blue.
Maybe just like a little bit darker blue. The darker it gets, the more shade coverage it has, but it will be, I think it's the royal blue and this is just like the azul blue or something like that. It's not that different, just a little bit more. The thing that we're just trying to price out right now, is ensuring that we do what's right, and Eric brought up a good point. We kind of put that pad out there so Ross and most of Ross could start doing programming out there. And the budget that we had to do it left the pad the size that it is. And as you know, his stuff grows, we could potentially add on a little bit towards the street, maybe put 5-7 more feet onto that concrete and make a little bit bigger pad and do a little bit more programming. So trying to just size fit it for the future so that we don't buy a canopy and then be like, yeah, we could use a space for 30 more persons under this canopy and then have a canopy that doesn't shade the whole structure. So that's where we're at, but we really want to try to get this put in with the time limitation of summer reading programs / outdoor yoga for us and stuff like that.
Cool.
So we're trying to move forward with it as quickly as possible. We have 3 companies that have provided quotes. Now we just need to find what style we like so that they can quote all the same ones so we can move forward in the process of purchasing and installation. But it's a one-stop shop. They do it all.
Yeah, background information for why that's important. If we go bigger, the 4-post is more cost effective. So like as we grow with that, the 4-post option might seem more ideal at that point. If we're, depending on what size would look at the pad being
Yeah.
down there.
I think long-term, you know, the 4-poster maybe isn't as like sharp as the top, as the cantilever, but for the purpose of looking long-term and for growth, I would go on the larger side, especially even if you don't ever extend the pad and it's still shaded grass. I mean, the grassy area is beautiful. I'd prefer to lay my yoga mat on a grassy area than a cement area. So, you know, that would be my
Valid.
take on it.
And one of the things too is since, you know, that shade is going to be
The time of the
just
day.
the time of the day.
Mhm.
We're making it 8 feet, which is ADA height. You could get a 10 or a 12, but the higher you raise it, the more the sun's going to come in. So we're really trying to get it. So if we shift it not only to where our potential concrete would be, but if we don't put more concrete in, that shade's then going to go towards the front of the library, right?
Yes.
Where usually they kind of do their programming facing the library if they have like a band or something like that. So you know, bigger would be better in this situation, but we'll wait for the final quotes. But just wanted to present these and kind of get some ideas.
And the 4-post would look the same. We just couldn't find a photo.
Yes,
To be
black.
clear, it'd be
Oh,
Black with the blue.
Yeah.
That
This
looks
is
a lot
what we're-
better.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah.
This just came straight out of the catalog with
Yeah.
what the 4-posts look like. They didn't, you know,
Mhm.
they have the different shading options, which I was like, I can put them in there. If you guys want to see them, I can bring the catalog, but, so, you know, it is in the CIP and I just wanted to, I don't know if we need to officially vote because we don't know what we're going with here, but I'm kind of just thinking, just wanted your guys' opinion on whether or not you're okay with either of the options based on what we need to do.
Yeah.
Of all the shade, the more shade we can do, the better. I mean, we're so
We've been fighting
limited.
Fighting for shade everywhere.
Yeah,
now,
right. I
so-
mean, it's
And
a
I-
problem
Decide.
all over.
Yeah, I'm with you on, you know, if we're gonna go with the larger one, and the 4-post makes more sense financially. Because we can expand later, that's the route I'd wanna go, but yeah, I do think the cantilever definitely looks a little bit sharper, it's pretty cool, but. I mean, that's not to say we can't maybe use that somewhere else at some point. when we get more
Absolutely.
shade,
Yeah.
You know,
Did I hear something about a bike rack?
In that space.
Not in that space.
But
But-
in that area, in the for
Yeah.
library park?
We're pricing out a bike rack and a new trash can for out front, since there's never been a trash can out in front of the library.
Wow. Probably so people don't throw books in it.
The book drop is just right on the other side.
Just don't put it by the book drop.
Yes, and before we do, we'll
Sad.
check in with that too, before we
He's 7-year-old
pull the
boy.
trigger on
He's an idiot.
the bike rack. Unless you just want us to go for it.
Just one that's usable.
Yep.
Cool. Looks great.
Yeah, we talked to Ross about all those things. Oh, also we talked to Ross. I love bringing this up because it's, you know, the collaboration piece. It is a library, but it is the turf is to the park and everything around it is. We're gonna look into getting, because that sign kind of got destroyed out there last year and the sign was kind of old.
Yeah.
So in the area that is non-irrigated where the turf looks horrible, looking to xeriscape that to match the landscape, as well as put a sign that matches our park signs where they'll say
Yay.
Wellington Public Library and then the Leaper Center underneath. Just an idea, it's all on pricing and everything, but we're looking for that.
That's
That would be
really
so
exciting. That'd be
cohesive.
really nice.
Yeah, it would look sharp, especially since
Yeah.
the other one is right down the street. It's like
Yep.
Library Park. Oh, here's the library and the Leaper Center.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
We
great.
can't put everything on there like Senior Resource Center and all that, but we just hope that library, and
Mhm.
we won't make that decision, but if we can price it out, we'll bring it to maybe the Board of Trustees. So
Love it.
we've been collaborating on just making it look better in front of more of an appealing space and then a usable space. So
Mhm.
Cool.
You get a lot of traffic too. A lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Which also means that there at some point should be a board, like a display board that's has plexiglass and a place to. hang
Yeah.
posters and things.
It's got everything in here. And we have the little kiosks.
No, but
over
we
at the
have, but
library,
we, you know, you get all these people who come and park and
Yeah.
do the sports and all of that, like it's another prime location to share
Oh,
information.
absolutely.
And I just think that's what we miss around town so much. So make it a hub.
Cool.
Just do another depot.
I have all day.
Another thing.
Future calendar.
As always, part of the meeting, you just want to go over this. The one thing, did it freeze them? That, what's in the agenda?
I can't write one.
So the April 19th meeting, everybody can look through, all the normal things are on there. There's a couple things that we talked about pushing. Originally, we were gonna talk about grants at this meeting, that got extremely full. So I pushed that off. We'll have way more to talk about most likely with the master plan. But Cody wants, I believe we can pull that hold off. I talked to him again today. So Sage 2 filing is needing to move forward with recommendations from PROST. So they are potentially gonna come present to us next meeting. And they've got to get that ball rolling. So that will be a developer presentation of certain spaces, and we get to help try to guide amenities in usage of the spaces. I don't have any physical information about it yet, but Cody and I are going to start talking about that in more depth before the meeting, and I'm going to try to get as much as I can in your hands as soon as I can, so that you have time to review it and look it over. Now, this isn't just like, yep, this is good, it's done. Like, this is just a first crack at it, but before it goes under development review, I believe it's got a couple steps to go. And he said, you know, rather than what has happened sometimes in the PROST is they go through, develop all the stuff, look at the space, amenitize it, and then come to us and we say, well, you probably need this and that. Then they have to go back out,
Mhm.
then to go to the development review again. So he's like, why don't we start with you guys? It's like, great.
Mhm.
So I don't want it to be too soon, but then we might need to pinch down that meeting just a little bit, because I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I'll get more information about that. But pretty important part of the process of getting that
Yeah.
filing going through and making sure that we,
Mhm. And that's the big
what we
one,
need.
right?
yeah,
That's the one south of County Road 660.
60.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay.
right off 61.
Yep.
On the tracks.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And remember, and still in the process, but getting closer, from what I assume is that some of that is gonna be
Mhm.
turned into that 13 acres right on Jefferson and the
Mhm.
Harvest Trail. So
Mm.
Mhm.
I hope they'll be able to present more on that specific situation.
That'd be
too.
really cool if they had that available.
Yeah, and then again, I think you all still have access to this, so if you want to put anything up there, or just send me a text, I'll throw it on here and then I'll look at it, how long it's gonna take, readjust. Change.
I might recommend we just put Friends of Wellington on every month as an agenda item.
I think, as far as an agenda, since it's not specific to PROST,
Okay.
what Jesse and I spoke about is just, if it comes up during, great updates, or
Okay.
at the very end when updates are given by PROST members, that's a great opportunity for them
That makes
too, but
sense.
as a specific agenda for the town, I think that
Sure.
might not be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thanks for bringing that up, because I didn't
Yeah,
bring
we
it up
did.
when I kind of linked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Update now?
Right.
Yeah.
Quick note on that, because I had thought about this. The other part of being a 501c3 is it's easier than for us to apply for grants for the
Mhm.
Veterans
Different
Garden too.
opportunities for sure.
So, the other piece. Good point.
Very good point.
Announcements.
Trying to turn some water on at some point. St. Patty's Day. We did a tree trimming. Eric and the Parks team did a tree trimming training with Bartlett. They came out and did some awesome work to Wellville, and during the time that they were doing the trimming work on McClellan, limbing some stuff up, they did a free training for our team, so that was a pretty cool little get from them. Spring sports was started, soccer started, football started.
The rec team tossed together a last minute league for volleyball. So there's like volleyball continuing in the spring for people who want to go a little bit past the like rec stage and go like playing tournaments and stuff. So it kind of like popped up as a last minute opportunity, and they crushed it out of the park to 2 teams. So that's pretty exciting.
Kind of like how softball started last year, is just like a little bit of community, a little bit of, yeah, let's do this. And then it's just like, hey, we have a team, and then 2 teams. Volleyball started the same way, so we didn't know, but yeah, at least I think they have like 19 or 20 now.
I don't know.
So there might have to be
Maybe 16
tryouts,
last year,
but
yeah.
so that was really cool. During concrete was reporting some more areas. Has everybody gone and seen the dock yet?
I have.
Go see the dock.
Mhm.
So have to
My
pitch
kid
it in,
has.
do the final little adjustment to the walkway, but other than that, once it's not winter, technically, we'll open that back up. Or open it up for the first time.
Plan for the dog park to go in or start going in is the week after spring break, so not next week, but the following week.
Cool.
All obviously weather dependent, but that is the goal for that. So keep an eye
That's
out for some
great.
holes being dug.
That's
And
awesome.
volunteers
Great.
that wanna come
I was gonna
help,
say, is there
yeah.
any, is the community build yet?
No, I wouldn't say a community build, but maybe this board build, John Evans.
I can show up.
Could you, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Anything else you need from us?
No, I don't think you can help with that.
No, I'm down.
Any updates from the board?
We came out with our annual report. Have you guys had a chance to see that? Okay, well, so PROST and Parks and Rec are all over it. So all the achievements of 2024, in addition to water plants and all the things, but there are PROST is listed in there. Talking about the dock, talking about park and play dates, that's just regular Parks and Rec stuff. Talking about the signs. So during the last meeting, I got to really, double down on that, being like, these are projects that PROST has been working on and planning for a very long time. They have more, but I love to see the progress, and it is a major achievement. I talked about gathering spaces in general, because the library was highlighted as well as like 36,000 items in circulation last year. Just all the places and everything that amenities wise this group is driving to improve Wellington. So that was a great shout out. And then there was a what's to come section, and that talked about our parks plan and everything coming up. So we are up front. I appreciate you guys for pushing all those items, I know, onto the annual report. I'm sure that was a major part of it, but it's really cool to celebrate. Chamber is going to be distributing these. Welcome Wagon's going to be distributing them. It's economic development. It's saying Wellington is investing in ourselves. You should come and play too, and maybe invest as well. So I think it's a good start. And then the other update is I got to speak at CSU on behalf of the town during the Week of Democracy. And the session that I did was a student-led simulation of they get to be governing folks, policymakers. And they put major issues in front of them. And a lot of them were public safety and housing and food insecurity and some really major big topics. But amenities did come up a couple times, and I thought that was really cool that they were thinking about it. It's like these young people, future leaders of the country and beyond, based off of some of the conversations I've had with them for international policy that some are going into. But they are just very well aware of enjoying where they live and bringing people together. So that, and that all aligns with the work that you guys are doing. So I just want to let you know that was represented there at CSU. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm here to help with anything. I've been pushing the festival and parade hardcore. And whatever you guys ended up scheduling for that, just let me know so I can help. I'm not wearing no welly costume. There's no way I'm just to answer that.
No, we're
question.
good. No, you're fine. Just whatever you want that day. That's a no.
I could just wear the head around. That's scary. Yeah.
Any
So.
PROST member updates? Parks? Anybody been in their parks? Any issues?
No issues. To get out and do that.
Okay.
No other updates.
Nobody has anything else? We can adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
Oh.
8 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah, on the dot.